Oh, this is Adam Rayner. I'm sat in a corridor with Mr. Steve Meade, possibly the single coolest dude in the entire world of car electronics and mobile. Just too bad. But we're sitting in a corridor because basically the Rockford room is now shut. The Hard Rock Hotel is one of the cooler places, and this is me being lazy. There were two things. One is I'm going to interview this dude for Fast Car Magazine, but before that we're going to do a whole feature on the man's car. How British is this? Tell us, what exactly is a Tahoe? This thing is a legend. You know, we know about a vehicle called a Tahoe. Is it a pickup truck? Is it a full-size? What is a Tahoe?
It's a sport utility vehicle, but basically it's a pickup truck with a body that can hold a bunch of people.
Gotcha.
Unless you have a lot of speakers.
Right, you are.
But you know.
But you do have a lot of speakers, don't you?
I have a lot of speakers, and I still have a lot of space.
Yes.
You know, it's still, I didn't get rid of the back seat, but I did get rid of the third row. I admit that, I had to do it.
Yes.
Had to make room for the woofers.
Okay, well, the way I tend to go through sound systems is kind of boring, but just for my record, I like to start at the front. What's your head unit, Mr. Meade? Where does the music come from? What's your source?
You know, it started out as a Pioneer deck, but as time went on, things started moving more towards car computers and iPads. But there wasn't even an iPad when I first installed that system. And it was all about the touchscreen car computer.
Yes.
And basically, my head unit is, there is still a Pioneer deck in there. It's another source, but I use a Mac Mini with a 10.2-inch touchscreen.
Very nice.
So,
with a beautiful display, although I imagine there's certain automotive manufacturers going, oh no, that's not an example of a set, Mr. Meade.
I don't really know how to use a Mac very well, but I know how to use iTunes, and I use that mainly inside the vehicle as my head unit. And I'm able to Bluetooth into the 360.3, and the Pioneer is a source.
Yes, just so that you guys know, a 360.3 is a magical box of Rockford Fosgate that you plug the sounds into, and then it does various stuff. What does that 360.3 do? That's the third version of it. There was a 360.3. Is that the Mark III version, or is that just?
It is. It's the newest one. It's the latest version. It's been out over a year now.
And its description, what would you call it? A processor or what?
It's a processor and an EQ.
Right.
With more bands of EQ than you know what to even do
shake
with.
a stick at. So.
Yes, basically, you know, a 31-band EQ for every speaker in the car.
How many speakers?
When it comes to the Tahoe has 30 speakers.
Okay, and where are they all placed?
4 of them are woofers.
Okay, we'll start at the back here. 4 woofers.
4 of the speakers are SMD, Ascendant Audio SMD version 1s. They're soon to be version 2s. They're getting ready to go in like next week. And mids and highs, I believe there's 12 tweeters and 10 mid-range, 6.5-inch mid-ranges, a couple of 4-inch mid-ranges, and a couple of 8 inches in the doors.
Is that per door or between them?
Between them, 30 speakers total.
Yes.
But
so these are highly powerful bits of kit. I mean, we've got cars in the UK that are wearing speakers like a Suriname toad wears its eggs on its back, a tessellation of transducers. Whereas yours are, that's just a sensible install by comparison.
Well, you know, it's hard to call it a 30,000 watt install, a sensible install. But if you were to look at it and see what it's made out of, you would see that it actually is. The only difference between my system and somebody else who just has some beat in their ride is that I can keep turning mine up, and it gets louder and louder, but without having to give up my back windows or the second row. In other words, I can still seat 5 people, and I can still see through every window. The box is about the height of the back seat, and I still have all the space. So it's when the seats go up, everything is hidden.
Wow.
And the only thing you can see is the top of the woofers, but there's 11 amplifiers. And
tell us about those amps. What's driving the 4 Ascendant Audios?
The 4 Ascendant Audio 18s, the SMDs, are ran by 2 Rockford Fosgate T2500 BDCPs per woofer.
Now, hang on, there are 2 2500 BDCPs. These are the suitcase-sized ones?
I would say they're about the size of, half the size of a suitcase,
and there's 2 on each woofer.
2 on each woofer,
and you've got 4, so there are 8 monstrous amplifiers driving these 4 woofers.
Yes. Yes.
And tell us about the wiring going up these monstrous amplifiers. Is there one over gauge or more than one over gauge up there?
Well, I mean, there's
power one. Is it single 1 over gauge in and around?
It's actually 2-aught ran from the. There's multiple 1-aught and multiple 2-aught ran from the front alternators to the back batteries.
That translates as 1 overgauge or 2 overgauge cable viewers.
Great cobs in the motherfucking house. Make sure that you leave that in there too.
7-time world champion.
Hey! Cut that out, man. This is my interview. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Hey, you only run with the loudest motherfuckers in the world.
Yeah.
Come meet me at the chain bar later. I gotta go to dinner.
Okay, all right. I'll find you. All right.
Dude.
Motherfucker hijacked my interview.
A little bit.
Make sure you put that on video.
Okay, cool. So there are 1 overgauge and 2 overgauge.
Okay, well, the thing about it is that I've got
fat wire,
multiple 1/0 and multiple 2/0.
So how many runs? Come on, I'm geeky. I want to know how many runs of that fat cable have you got front to back?
There is, I believe, there's about 14 runs from the front to the back, and
the red ones.
Of the red,
earth in the back
14 red, 14 black, and they are
28.
And they run to a set of bus bars.
Yeah.
And
big, fat brass things that everything fits to, so that it's all one potential.
Yes. And once it gets to the back, the bus bars, there's 9 batteries in the back. There's 1 in the front, 9 in the back. They're all the same. They're excess power.
Yes.
D3100s.
How many ampere hours in a D3100? Is that the clues in the name, fat boy? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. You're gonna have to look.
3,100, I'd suggest.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll have to cut the video and look at the stats. I'm not sure. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head.
But they're the most hench ones they do.
They're very big. They're 80-pound, almost 80-pound excess power batteries. Whoa. There's 10 of them.
This is sounding heavier and heavier and heavier.
It's
14 runs of that.
Yeah, 14 runs. But the thing about it is that's all from the alternators.
Yeah, that was the next
to
question.
The battery bank.
What is the engine in the Tahoe?
It's stock 5.3 liter.
5.3 V8. In England, a 5.3 V8 is holy flaming heck.
Yeah. But I want to move up to a 6 liter.
No, so really, you can take some horsepower off that and it won't care. We have a 2-liter turbo, engine by comparison. It's going to die. And one guy had anyway. So alternation, what's on there? What does Steve Meade use to spin up the amperes?
Actually, I run 4 McMahon 250 amp, and he told me later that they're 275s.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, cut that. 350 amp alternators, and he said that they were 375s, but we'll just be conservative and say I've got 4 350 amp McMahon SMD spec alternators.
In excess of 1,000 amperes continuous, so pretty much
1,400.
1,400 amperes.
Yeah.
And enough
batteries. And it's not even enough for what I have, but I can only give so much belt up to alternators.
Yes. Whoa, yeah.
Before it becomes ridiculous.
So what are the amplification devices on the other? What amps have you got on the raw speakers again?
Well, there's a Rockford Fosgate T1000.4 on all the 6.5s.
That's the biggest 4-channel amp they do.
Yep. And it's one of the original ones that still has the LED meters. The new ones don't have them on there, but I still have the ones that do. People want those. Yeah, because I love people want. They always ask me if they could buy, But no, and then there's also a T1000.4 on the 8s that are in the doors, and it's split up between. There's also a set of 5 or a set of 4s in the A pillars.
Right.
And it's a little bit of overkill, but that's what it runs. It runs those 2. Yes.
But the A-pillar 4s, that's about a bit of sound quality too.
Yeah, it's backed off. I mean, it's effortless.
Yes.
But the system plays effortless, and it does what it's supposed to do. And then we've got a power. It's all power series. There's no punch in there. It's all power T-series amplifiers. It's 600 Rockford Fosgate 600.2 running all the tweeters.
And that's an awful lot of tweets, isn't it? What are those tweeters?
They are T1s.
The T1.
Yeah,
yes,
they're all.
Is that a soft dome or a hard dome?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that a soft or hard? Hey, I can. The T1. They make really good tweeters. Is the plant.
Yeah.
The T1. And they've been around for a while, haven't they?
I've actually had. There's 10 sets or 5 sets of T1 separates.
Yes.
And then there's also an extra set of tweeters in the A pillars because of the 4-inch custom. There's some one-offs in the A pillars. Rockford actually made them for me.
Rockford made one-off transducers for Steve Meade. That's aristocracy.
Yes, they did. I'll show you. I'll send you pictures of the words on this to prove it. But they actually made a second pair after I screwed up the first pair. No. Well, I was trying to get them in the A pillars, and I ground them down, and they weren't looking that good.
How much did you enjoy that phone call, Steve? You said, the speakers are made especially for me. There's one only pair in the entire world.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I had a little incident. Do you know what? I've always said this. You say, I work without speakers, but I have never put a screwdriver through one. Means one of those statements is a lie.
No, bullshit.
Exactly.
I have actually, in the past, in my adult, it's been 20 years probably, or 15 years, I would say maybe.
You're not doing it next week, won't you?
Now, well, the thing about it is, it's probably been 15 or 20 years since I actually put a hole in a speaker. Right. It's been less since I've hit the surround with the speaker, the surround with the screwdriver, and not done any damage, but I could.
Because the surrounds are so incredibly strong.
And almost screwed it up.
I've made the same error, but the speaker let me get away.
But you live and learn, and you try to improve, and you try to not do it on the next one. You try to learn some control. Yes. And luckily for me, in my older years, I've learned a lot better control. Yes. And I've gotten better tools too.
That issue, the control thing, is the point. There are plenty of people who've piled up more equipment in bigger heaps, but it's the result as well as how the thing sounds. Yeah. And the question I've got, which is really not the point because the numbers aren't everything, but I know you have measured it an awful lot of times. What sort of SPLs does this thing put out incidentally to how it actually does its thing? Because it's more than just the sound.
In early 2000, around 2004, 2005, it was officially metered at 157 dB, a little over 157.4 in the kick panel, which was USAC outlaw or USAC style in the kick panel.
Yeah, that's a known pressure point, but that's outrageous loud.
156.5 at the dash.
No, not really.
And since then, in my shop, I've done a little bit more than that. I've upgraded. I've gotten better stuff. But the Tahoes seem to have a wall that they hit that they just don't want to pass up.
Yeah, and I think that's the actual infrastructure. That's the monocoque inflating.
Because it's definitely gotten deeper.
Yes.
It's definitely gotten louder, and the system is definitely more aggressive.
Yes.
But it's really like gaining 1 dB when you're around 158 dB is like, I mean,
it's like 10 mile an hour at 200.
Yes, exactly. It's
logarithmic.
Yes, exactly.
You're up against the god of mathematics, dude. Yeah. The logarithm.
But the good news is that it's a solid system, and it's just as loud as it's ever been, and sounds good doing it.
And the other one, of course, is that we just heard you're a modest man going on about how I'm careful, I will learn. You're not above playing silly buggers with the thing. You've done some hilarious demonstrations with what happens in the ports in the back.
It's just fun. I mean,
it's just smiling.
Breaking things is
breaking stuff.
It's
making
silly and it doesn't make no sense. But when you put something near that much sound pressure and that much turbulence, and it shatters in your hand, it's just fun.
Yes. So one of the things that you've destroyed you open up the back, there's a square hole, the speaker's coming down, the air goes in and out so hard that things die when was it packets of potato crisps?
Well, I mean, potatoes don't. They make a bag of potato chips will make it exactly a half a second in that port. It will explode.
Boom.
Yeah, boom, gone. Especially the little bags, but the big bags just explode. Yeah, they're gone. Everything from bags of potato chips to CDs and glass. A pane of glass. I don't know if you saw the video.
I've got to see some of those guys out.
Well, Outrageous Acts of Science. That video, it's on Discovery Channel right now. They're still playing it. It's been on TV for 2 years.
So Outrageous Acts of Science was a video that was done on Discovery that used your Tahoe as a...
They actually came out
to do an Outrageous Act of Science.
They came out and shot it, yes.
That's the whole point, because we're building this as the world's most famous car audio install ever. And the other question I've got to do with that is, this is the one nearer, how many people have seen this on the internet, this Tahoe?
How many people have seen it? Well, on YouTube alone, YouTube, probably over 170 million.
Sorry.
Hold on, let me look at my phone.
170 million.
That's just
million.
Hold on.
I used to work for a magazine. We were so proud. We had it was measured in millions. That was a long time ago, but Fast Car Magazine rocks. We sell an awful lot of copies, and we're doing pretty well on our digital version, but 170. Can you put our stuff on your site?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just lost it there.
Well, that's just YouTube alone.
That's YouTube alone.
Yeah.
And so you have other...
I have 3 Facebook pages. Actually, 4 if you count my web store.
So the Facebook pages, you had to do them because they filled up, or because, how many people have...
Well, the thing about it is, it's a long story how I ended up with 3. The first one was a friend page. And it maxed out at 5,000.
Maxed at 5,000.
And before you knew it, I was backlogged 3,500 people, but they couldn't get in.
3,500 people couldn't join Be Your Friend.
Nope. Yep. So I started a fan page, but I didn't start it as a fan page like, look at me.
Here's a page we can talk
I have fans. It was more like, here's a friend page that is unlimited.
Yes.
But it's called a fan page because it's not a business. it turned into a business later.
Yes.
Because I do my, I turned it into something.
Yes.
But at the same time, that's what I did. But I had originally made one prior to that, and then I was all into MySpace.
Yes.
So I made a Facebook page probably a few months beforehand,
yes,
like that, and then I just ignored it.
Yeah.
And by the time my marketing manager, Tony Candela, came to me and he said...
Did you know your Facebook page has got how big?
Well, at the time, I didn't know. I had a friend page that was maxed out at 5,000 with a backlog.
Yes.
And I didn't really care.
You weren't bothered at the time.
And my marketing manager said, "You need a Facebook page." I'm like, screw Facebook.
Yes.
MySpace. It's all about MySpace.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't even like Facebook.
Yes.
And finally, he talked me into it, so I made a page, and it shot right up. It went straight to 5,000 within a few days.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, "Hey, there's an imposter page out there. Somebody that's imitating you."
I have to say, I had a fan page on Facebook. I was phoned by the radio, and there were 200 fans. Oh. And I had an imposter on my forum, and I said, "When you want to pretend to be someone who was cool, if I was going to be an imposter, I'd pretend to be you."
Well, people were telling me that it was an imposter, but it wasn't. It was my page.
It was your page
that I started that I ignored, and I looked. And it had 5,400 people already, and I never said a damn thing to anybody. I never even put a picture on it.
You never said hello?
No.
And 5,400 people went, hey, well,
so now I've got one with 5,400 and one with 5,500 and a friend page with 5,000.
Yes.
So instead of deleting one, I just started nurturing each one of them.
Yes.
And everything that I do on the forum, I post on all 3 of those pages.
Yes.
Because Facebook will throttle your back.
It's a social media in action.
If you've got 10,000 people following your page, only a fraction are going to see it unless you pay them.
Yeah, I've experienced that. That's a recent thing with Facebook. It starts off with everybody seeing everything, but
so it benefited me to spread my stuff out on a 3rd page.
Yes,
because the people were already there.
It's been
so fast forward 5 years, and one of them has 65,000, and one of them has 96,000, and the friend page is still maxed out. So and they're still growing. So I still nurture all 3 of them.
Yes.
And Twitter isn't that big. It's around 11, 12,000 or something like that.
Twitter isn't that big, 11, 12,000.
That's nothing compared to some people.
500.
Well, compared to some people.
I neglect it.
I'm not big on Twitter. I use it, but I'm not major on it.
I tend to use mine to publicise and off to Facebook. Anyway, this is about it.
Yeah. And of course, Instagram came along.
70 million.
30,000 on Instagram.
30,000 on Instagram as well. Wow.
Yeah, there was actually.
I reckon a lot of that's got to be overlap. But you've got people I follow on Facebook and Instagram and blah, real fans.
Yeah. Well,
tell me about your fan base. I think that's for the other interview. This is supposed to be just the Tahoe. We're going to have to.
I was going to show you this real quick.
Okay, I'll have to wave it at the camera there.
Hello. Hey, how's it going? Well, I was going to show you. I wanted to give you the exact figures, so you knew.
So the main issue is, because we're going to be doing a main issue, the main issue is that this is the single most famous car hi-fi installation, and you're the most single famous car audio person the world's ever seen by such a long way. I've got a friend called Ian Iceman Pinder, who's going to be gutted. He's kind of big in his world.
It's you could actually say, it's.
No, he's well known, but dude, that's awesome.
I'm trying to see.
Awesome, 170 million.
Yeah, there's more than that. I want to say it's 176 million.
Yes.
But it's I don't have the exact. Yes. I'm trying to find. About here we go. Just so you can have. You can edit out all this bullshit too, So.
Oh no, I don't let it do it. I let it run.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. One take Rayner, a bit of gonzo. The hardcore can watch the lot.
Okay.
Yes. So it's checking out the phone here, and 171,559,678 views. 344,864 subscribers. Steve Meade, thank you.
Just a little proof, but
we'll leave it right there.
Okay.